Crash investigation is just starting, but there are so many other moving pieces to what's happening out there. Emergency workers have set up a shelter at Samuel Fells High School overnight to take care of anyone who may have been forced out of their homes by the crash.
CBS News Philadelphia reporter Dan Snyder went to that shelter. He's live out near the scene of that crash with the story of one woman, Dan, who scrambled to escape the aftermath. Good morning.
Good morning, Howard and Jan. Yeah, as you can see behind me, we are just a few blocks away from that crash site. And what you can really tell from this look, just how densely populated this area is. So many people saw and felt the impact of last night's crash. One of those women, Delores, we spoke with her just about an hour ago. She did spend the night at that Red Cross shelter at Fells High School. She lives very, very close to where that plane went down. She tells us she was upstairs laying in bed at the time, heard a loud boom, a flash of yellow, and then everything flew off her bed. She described to us those chaotic moments, those seconds after that crash happened. Take a listen.
As I came downstairs and I opened up the door, there was a piece of the airplane and at the steps on fire. So I thought the house was on fire. So I panicked, looking for my dog, and as I was panically looking for her, I fell out of steps trying to get her because she hid from me. And then when I went down to the basement, I opened up the back door. The back of the house was on fire. My neighbor's house in the back was totally engulfed in flames.
Now, fortunately, Delores and her dog were able to get out of the house safely. As we said, she did spend the night at the Red Cross shelter at Fells High School. When we spoke to her just about an hour ago, she was actually on her way back home to get her first daylight look at her home. She tells us most, if not all, of the windows in her home are blown out. But at this point, she does not think she has any fire damage. So she is going to check everything out, as many people around here are going to be doing today. Howard and Jan, back to you.
You know, we've been saying all morning long that this is right next to Roosevelt Mall. However, we also need to remember that you're also right in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah, so many people want to get back to see what is left. But again, officials are asking people to stay away from that scene at this time as the investigation continues.
Left behind, any street, any alleyway, any pathway you could really find that could lead to that crash site is going to be closed off as police try to cordon off as much as they can as part of this investigation. But obviously, this entire area was full of activity last night as that jet went down. One woman we spoke with says she lives very, very close to that site. She tells us all her windows were blown out during that incident. She told us about scrambling to try and find her dog, figure out what was going on, and get out of the house as quick as she could, and opening up the door to find a piece of the plane on fire in front of her steps.
My neighbor put the fire out that was in front of the door, and I got out the house, and it was just a body on top of the roof, pieces on top, all, like fire of the airplane all on the ground and stuff. It was very, very terrifying. Like, I'm very scared right now.
When I got there on the scene, besides the sounds of first responders, it was eerily quiet. No folks were walking, businesses were shuttered, cars were charred. It was a really difficult scene.
State Representative Jared Solomon, who you heard from there, he grew up in the neighborhood, he represents this area, and he echoed what we've heard from many people here, that this was just something that was completely unimaginable to them. A plane going down in their neighborhood, never even considered that possibility. He says this is now a time for the community to come together and lend a hand where you can. We'll send it back to you.
It's certainly not something that you would expect to happen if you're sitting on your couch or driving down the road there. Dan, thank you very much to you and your photographer, Casey Kuhn. And stay with CBS News Philadelphia as we bring you the latest developments on this crash. When we're not on air, you can always find us at cbsphiladelphia.com.